Hello, friends, and welcome to The Other A Word by Aminah Mosley, your go-to resource for fun, simple, and effective strategies to support the autism community in early childhood and beyond. I'm Aminah, and welcome back. Super excited to be here today. Today we have Kendra Jordan. I am absolutely honored to be hosting and supporting her business here. Her business is My Seat LLC. She'll tell you a little bit more about that when I introduce her. Know this about her. Know that she is dynamic. She is knowledgeable. She is absolutely the person that you want to go to in terms of tutoring for neurodiverse children. She's not only focused on neurotypical children or children who are typically developing mentally and cognitively, but she's focused on children along the autism spectrum. I am beyond excited to have her here. She is my sorority sister, so we share that in common, the royal blue and pure white. But more than that, her personality shines. Her passion shines. I am fired up to bring you Ms. Kendra Jordan. Soror Kendra Jordan, tell the people who you are.
Hi, thank you, Aminah, for that wonderful introduction. Like she said, my name is Kendra Jordan. I can start where I started my career. Actually went to SUNY Oswego in 2005. I graduated with my bachelor's in childhood education. From there, I wanted to go a different path to try something different. So I started to work in human services for United Cerebral Palsy of New York City. There, I started my career as a habilitation specialist, which is similar to a teacher in a classroom for adults with various disabilities. And I went from that position and worked my way up to becoming a residential director. I actually ran 2 programs at one time and was one of the youngest directors in the agency at the time. So I was really proud of myself for that. But I there learned that working with people and adults and children with special needs was a great passion of mine. I worked with adults who had traumatic brain injury to Down syndrome, different areas of need that I felt that I could be of assistance. So I had that passion within me, and then I still wanted to go back to education. So I decided to leave that position and go right back into working with children. I received my master's degree in 2018 from Ashford University in special education. And at the time, I was actually working with students diagnosed with autism. So I decided to use that as my focus. And I loved it. I loved working with children of young ages. I loved working in 2nd grade, which is like my favorite grade. And I worked in a micro ICT. I still do. And that means it's just basically integrated co-teaching environment, where it's one special education teacher and one general education teacher. And in that atmosphere, it's called the NEST program. I work with an ASD NEST program, and we actually provide guidance for students diagnosed with autism so they can become more social aware.
So being at home during this pandemic gives us the opportunity to spend more time with our loved ones and really tune into our school-age children. So you're able to pay attention to their wants and, more importantly, their needs. So Kendra, tell us, what should we be tuning into?
Well, Aminah, we should definitely tune into our child's triggers. Okay, so what I mean by triggers are like, for example, my trigger is when someone steps on my words. That's a term we use in a classroom when someone talks over you, or while you're talking, they just start to talk or they interrupt. So that's a trigger for me, because I wouldn't like for someone to interrupt me or stop me from talking, because it makes me feel like they don't want to listen, or it makes me feel like I'm not worth listening to. So it goes from taking us from a negative, a positive to a negative, and we don't want that.
Interestingly enough, in ABA, we use a similar strategy because we're looking at the ABCs, right, of behavior. So we're looking at the antecedent, which is the A, the behavior, which is the B, and the consequence, which is the C. The antecedent is the trigger, the thing that comes before everything. The behavior is actually what's physically going on with the child. And then the consequence is the thing that reinforces the behavior in the environment. So what's going on in the environment that reinforces this behavior. In this particular case, if somebody steps on a loved one's words, we get to then demonstrate, like anticipate that that's the trigger and to anticipate the behavior and essentially come in between the trigger and the behavior. And we teach the child as they're getting upset or bothered that instead of having a meltdown, which could be a shutdown completely or going inside, or a tantrum, which is the emoting, the giving out the energy of the I'm upset and doing something outward. So we can anticipate that and support the loved one in saying, stop, wait, my turn. So we can give them this visual cue, and then we can tap our chin and say, my turn, to prompt them to say, my turn, so that the behavior of the meltdown will not happen at all. And then in that consequence, what we can do is say, nice using your words, nice saying wait, so that the likelihood that that behavior will reoccur, so the wait please as opposed to the tantrum will recur, has increased. Excellent, I understand. Number 2?
Mm-hmm. Well, the second thing we should be tuning into is a child's interests. That means when a child has a special interest in something or a love for something, we should pay close attention to that because we could use that later. For example, I have a child in my class who loves Star Wars, and that's their interest.
Yes.
So that could be used as a motivation later on.
I like it. I was thinking if a child is really interested in science, for example, versus math. So my sister Delphina loves herself some math. Me, myself, I was focused on the English. So let's say I was more focused on English. So if a child likes English more than math, they'll pay attention longer because they're focused on English versus math.
Well, actually what I meant was if you have a child that's interested, say Star Wars again, you could possibly use that interest in a math story or a word problem.
Okay.
Maybe use one of the characters like Luke Skywalker, for example, in a math problem. And that would probably engage them a little more and make them want to do the word. So you're tying their interest in with their studies.
Okay. Let's discuss strategies. Kendra, what strategies should we be using?
Well, we should definitely use some refocusing strategies, and one could be a break area. Now, a break area could be any corner of a room, maybe the living room, with some pillows, something comfortable to sit on, 3 or 4 maybe items of choice, something that they love to hold or play with, some paper, something so they can go to that break area, have a time frame or how long they're going to spend, reflect, and then go back into their studies, and should definitely have a timer.
And when you say timer, about how many minutes is it? The widely understood and utilized thing is timeout, where you use the child's age plus 1 minute to help them to transition, to help them to calm down, to help them with any meltdowns or tantrums that are happening. And so is this like a timeout?
Or? Absolutely not. This is actually the total opposite of a timeout. This is actually giving them an opportunity to take a break or reflect away from the work and giving them some time to refocus and get back on track. And then they come right back into learning. And generally, I like to give my students about 5 minutes or so to give them that time and that break away or movement break that they need. Or it could be up to the parent's discretion, maybe 5 minutes or 10, and then they need to know they have to get right back into their work.
Okay. So for example, you could just set a timer on your cell phone.
Absolutely.
How does the child know when the time is up?
So I would say a parent could prime them and cue to them, you have 1 minute left, or they can hear a sound on the timer to tell them, okay, time is now up.
I would set it to my favorite song. Ow. Okay. And so a break area. A break area sounds pretty simple to set up. It sounds like just a corner of a room, a couple pillows. You said some of their favorite things and the timer. I'm guessing patience is also in that whole category. What else can we do?
Well, we can also do some refocusing hand movements right there in the study area. So there's one we learned from Brain Power. It's actually very cool. It's called pinky thumb. So you have one thumb on one hand and a pinky on the other. And you have to simultaneously or at the same time, well, palms facing you. And at the same time, try your best to switch your fingers. So now the new hand, or you're going to switch from your pinky to your thumb and switch at the same time. So count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Try and switch. 1, 2, 3. Try to switch. 1, 2, 3. Try to switch. And it's working both parts of your brain at the same time. Both sides.
Clearly, I have to practice. What about those fidget spinners?
Oh no, I can disagree with fidget spinners. Fidget spinners are more like toys and distractions than they are for fidgets, for stemming. So I do have a few fidgets that are appropriate here with me. One could be a stress ball, and I actually made this one with a clean sock, some rice, and a strong scrunchie. So it actually is it's texturized, it smells good, and you can squeeze it, and it's very much a stress ball, homemade with things that you have at home.
I love that. I would add a little lavender or orange to that. Ooh, some essential oils. Okay.
I know a lot of students love, well, girls, of course, they love toys and dolls. So even like a hairbrush that has a texture on one side and then something like flat or smooth on the other, that could definitely help. For another fidget, it could be a gel. Well, it's actually made with hair gel, glitter in a plastic baggie. And it's definitely something for touch, that sense of touch, and the gel smells really good. So you can touch and smell at the same time, draw letters. It's definitely useful for a fidget, and it could also be used at the working station.
All right, so to recap, get to know, take this time to get to know your children, your loved ones, triggers, their interests, and their motivation, and use their motivation as incentive. Where possible, you're going to set up a break area. You're going to have a couple of refocusing activities handy. Let me just see. Nope. Okay. 2, 3.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Hey! oh, that's up. And you want to have a couple of non-distracting fidgeting items, potentially things that you can just put in your pocket. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a link to those things. This video is not sponsored, but just some examples of those things. We're going to send a link to put that in the description box. Thank you so much, Kendra Jordan, for being here with us. For all of those of you who are joining us who are brand new to the channel, consider liking and subscribing for more great content like this.
Weren't those tips helpful, friends? Let me know in the comments if you have any techniques that you use that you found particularly effective during this time period. Love to hear from you. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Where are you with things right now? We want to share our tips and tricks as a community. If you are brand new to this channel, like, subscribe, continue to comment, come back over and over. We're here every Miracle Monday, and we're always excited to see you. Believe in miracles, friends. Expect miracles to happen every single day. See you soon. Bye for now. Who's ready for an ASL break? Me. Okay. So today's ASL break will be, hello, friends. My turn. Hello, friends. Together. Hello, friends. Your turn. Hello. Friends. Nice job. Bye for now.